Welcome to Goldenrod Radio. I'm Jellysound. This is Broducer. With us from offsite, we have iShine and Shawnlu. Welcome.
What's up, everyone?
How's it going,
probably
guys?
ask Sean if he has like a name other than Shawnlu, even though in all his games, like for Pokemon, he's just Shawnlu.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Do you?
we'll talk about that next time.
Yeah.
It's really fine. So, how's it going, everyone? What we're gonna? Oh, you guys are really white. The stream just came up.
Yeah,
It must be really bright there.
It's pretty bright inside, yeah.
Definitely bright.
Reason why Sean doesn't have a picture up there?
Because Sean
I
hasn't set a
I
profile
want-
picture for himself.
Oh no, he has. It's fine.
If
Whatever.
I add
Let's
him to
just.
contacts, I just...
It's fine.
ruined
Let's just
everything. There we
continue.
go. Poof.
So.
He's the mysterious Pokemon trainer.
Yes.
Alright. So what I'm going to do, everyone, is I'm going to give a brief overview, it's very brief, of our topics today. We're going to be talking about the recent Pokebank delay. We're going to be talking about a Pokemon of the Week, a new feature that we're starting this week. We're also going to be talking about our local tournament report that happened at Mage's Realm on Friday night. And then we're going to be talking about the VGC Winter is starting. We're going to be giving out dates, locations. We're going to be talking about Season 2 rating battles and why it's important to play all of them. And then we're going to be discussing at the very end our very big, brand new Twitch online tournament that will be previewed sometime near the end of January.
That's something very exciting.
Yep.
Yeah. All throughout this, we'll be raffling off free Ivy Red Absols, because that is the Pokemon of the Week today. So, without any further ado, we should probably just get started. Let's start talking about the Pokebank. What do you guys really know about the Pokebank?
Well, Japan has been getting it not a full Pokebank, but we haven't been able to do anything with the Pokebank due to the big crash, right?
Well, we
True.
should probably start by saying what the Pokebank is.
Which we covered last show as well. But the Pokebank, for
Might wanna
those of
give-
you that
yeah.
don't know, is basically a subscription fee, right, Jonathan?
Well, you get the first month free. You get 3,000 spaces for extra Pokemon. It's a thing on the eShop. So you'll download it, and then Poke Transfer is a separate program that you take Pokemon from your previous games, and for previous Pokemon DS games, and you transfer them into the Pokebank, which can hold 3,000 Pokemon. I believe that's 30 boxes.
That's a lot of boxes.
That's a lot of
That's a lot of
boxes.
boxes, yeah.
And it holds them
It's
there.
basically a Pokemon Cloud.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good way to describe it. So what recently happened with the Pokebank was on its launch date on December 27th. It was up for a couple hours, and only Japan and Korea got it. Correct? Isn't that how it works?
Well, Japan and I guess
I believe
Korea
Japan got
both
it on
had
the 25th.
the 25th.
Yeah,
they
that's
got
what
it a day
that's what I-
early. So they were Wonder Trade was flooded with and the GTS was flooded with Kanto's Johto starters and Hoenn starters that everybody was really excited
Legendaries
about.
and-
Yeah.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah,
But,
it was pretty cool, but it's down right now, and
For us, yeah.
there haven't really been that many announcements of when it's going to come back up, so everyone's pretty much just waiting for the potential release of the Pokebank. And well, the metagame can't really advance without its release. Like, we're pretty much just stuck being kind of stale right now.
Yeah, a lot of Pokemon trainers were actually really excited about the Pokebank and getting ready for it, especially at our own local, and with the not having access to it was a really big damper on the tournament scene.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's talk about some of the new things the Pokebank brings, since everyone's waiting for it. One of the things it really brings is new egg moves. One of the ways, Conkeldurr with Drain Punch, you couldn't really get that in this gen because you needed to break Conkeldurr with something that was a Pokebank exclusive. So now that he's out, you can again have Pokebank Drain Punch Conkeldurr. You can also get all the new Pokemon in Kalos are getting all new egg moves. I think there's new egg moves for Noivern, Aegislash, just a lot of things that are left undiscovered. And the faster we get the release, the faster we learn all these things, because no one wants to fall behind, and currently Japan and Korea are miles ahead of everyone else.
Yeah, I heard that in Pokemon Black and White, or one of the old DS games, that was the most richest environment for egg moves in general. Is that carrying on into this area with the fact that those Pokemon that we're learning crazy egg moves are going to be breeded into the newest ones?
Well, it was in Black and White 2. It was the move tutors. There were extra move tutors for all your Pokemon, and so Pokemon that usually didn't get a whole lot of specific moves started to get these moves just from the move tutor, and so those move tutor moves are also egg moves for some Pokemon. So The Pokemon who get the move from the move tutor can now be egg move parents to Pokemon on X and Y, and that could bring a whole slew of new Pokemon that know things like Stealth Rock or Destiny Bond.
I also want to hit on what Sigurd said, or Broducer, I guess. We should call you by your name.
It doesn't matter.
Anyways, I want to hit on that because you said Gen 5 was the richest environment for breeding egg moves. Remember, in this gen, females can outpass the egg moves. It's not just the males anymore. So we're getting the ability to breed 4 egg moves on things. Like, things pop out. Like, think about it. If you want to get an Aggron with Superpower, Curse, and Stealth Rock, that used to not be possible. You used to have to pick 2. Now, if you were to breed a, let's see, a Slowpoke with Curse, with a Tyrant with Stealth Rock, you would get a Tyrant with Curse and Stealth Rock, which you can then breed with an Aeron who gets Superpower and have all 3. So we're getting huge amounts of just, you can do whatever you want and get whatever you want. And I think that's really good for the metagame.
It can be. It'll bring a lot of variety and a lot more.
Yeah.
You're gonna need to know a lot more things to be wary of.
Well, it's not even that you're going to need to know a lot more things. It's that all your wildness dreams have now come true.
It's going to definitely be making a headache for someone that's like new to the tournament scene like myself.
Yeah. So do you have any predictions in how the metagame's going to shift?
Everything's gonna get Stealth Rocks, and that's gonna make me unhappy.
No, that's not going to be it. I think the metagame is, well, everything is going to get Stealth Rocks, but that's all. What we're getting is once the Pokebank comes out, everything that was banned last gen that was technically on the borderline, like Genesect, like Thundurus, all those things are going to be legal again. Hell, even like Skyman might be legal for
That'd be
who knows
Shaman.
how long.
Shaman, Skyman.
Well, Shaman's already UU, but I mean, Skyman could be legal. And that thing is just ridiculous. It's stronger than Togekiss, better than Togekiss, 60% Air Slash like Togekiss, with also Seed Flare. So I mean, what it brings is a ton of legendaries to the table, and I just don't think the metagame's prepared for it.
Do you think a lot of Pokemon are going to end up getting banned because of like the fact that they'll be able to have all these moves on them?
I really do.
Yeah, it sounds like all the previous legendaries are going to overshadow the new Kalos Pokemons a lot.
Yeah, I think we'll probably keep like Aegislash and Talonflame, but why wouldn't you use a team that's Genesect, Skyman, Latios, and Tornadus and Thundurus? You know, why wouldn't you use that team? It would be stupid not to.
Sounds disgusting.
I don't know. I'd feel bad using it. I would just wouldn't want to because they're all legendary. Should stay in the box. It's my philosophy.
Well, that's your moral compass
Yep.
going at you. little Timmy though, who's like 11 and wanting to beat up some peoples, is gonna definitely use that.
I'm gonna play all Ubers.
Well, the thing is, people don't have a problem playing to win. You see that often up at our tournaments.
Yep.
People don't really play to have fun as much anymore as play to win. So, and I just don't like that either. But it is how it is.
It's asserting your dominance.
We can also talk about how, like, with a Pokebank only being out for like a few hours in those countries, what it did was, since a bunch of people transferred over starters and what few legendaries they could before it got shut down, it destroyed any stability that the global trade station had. People like, all right, well, I have this Phoebus, and you're going to trade me your Yveltal for it, because you've been waiting for Phoebus forever, and it's going to be an even trade. You know, you can't, there's no way, like, I personally have all the starters, all of them from every game now, because I went and did all my work and got everything, traded inefficiently for them, and that just creates an unhealthy format, because in that way, it's just like how it was in every other game. The Japanese and the Koreans have the right of way, and everyone else is playing catch up, and I just don't think that that's fair.
Well, Nintendo as a
Like,
company
I got a
has been
shiny
doing that a
Latias.
lot. Oh, go ahead, Sean.
On GTS.
Yeah.
I got a shiny Latios in GTS.
And we
for
don't even know if
Phoebus.
it's hacked yet. We don't even know if it's hacked yet, because
Yeah.
we've seen hacks go through the Pokebank, which is one of the reasons why I speculated it was shut down in the first place.
Quite possibly, yeah.
What's the indicator that allows you to know? Like, is it the blue dot that shows you that it's legal, or is it the blue dot that shows you that it's a hacked Pokemon?
There's no blue dot, I don't think.
There's no blue
One
dot?
of the ways that we know it's hacked is we've seen people get Torterras that are shiny with their hidden ability. Now, Torterra cannot be shiny with its hidden ability. Also in what ball was it? It was in the wrong ball, and so there's no way to get one of those in game. But yet it's in the game. You see how that? It's just not possible. People are also getting like Iron Fist, Infernapes in in Ultra Balls. Can you explain that? That's not possible.
Yeah, that doesn't make any
yeah.
sense.
Well, unless they did it in X and Y.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then you just can't have an Infernape in well, Which
No,
player
yeah.
does it take the ball from?
There's also a
actually?
bunch of underleveled
they're
Pokemon
always
like
Pokeballs.
There you go.
Gengars.
There you go. There's a bunch of those things that got through, which is really why I speculate they got shut down. And I think that if they bring it back, I was perfectly fine. Everyone just being cut off from their old Pokemon and everyone having to start over.
Yeah.
That's just me.
Well,
It's
then,
not like, well, it's like, you know how StarCraft and Brood War, like people still just play Brood War. Brood War still has its own scene. I have no problem with Black and White still having its own scene and X and Y having its own scene. I think it's healthy for the metagame, people to play both. You see people play Brawl and people play Melee. It's not. I see no problem why people can't play both.
well, I just think that at that same time, like, though, to start all over again would then give Nintendo, like, a whole avenue of releasing more not patches, but, like, Pokemon games to catch up for X and Y. And I think a lot of players wouldn't like that as much, having to basically play another, not Fire Red, but Inferno Red, and, I don't know, Forest Green.
We've had to start over before. Remember when, what was it, Gen 3 came out? You couldn't, they weren't backwards compatible.
Yeah.
We've had to start over before. And people in QQ about their Pokemon all being gone. But when it comes down to it, they changed stats on 30 to 40 different Pokemon. They just changed their base stats. They changed what moves do. The metagame is completely backwards. They changed weather. You know, there's a lot of things that would make it so Black and White is actually more competitive than X and Y. That's just my opinion.
I would have been happy if it just Kalos, if they didn't have the Pokebank at all, but I can see why, just for catching all 700 Pokemon in one game, that it is.
Yeah, that's pretty much
nice.
how it's required. I don't know. I don't like hacks. That's just my personal thing.
That's
I think in general a lot of people don't appreciate hacks.
Okay. Is there anything else you guys really want to talk about on the Pokebank? If there's not, we can probably just move on.
There's not much to talk about until it actually comes out.
Yeah. There's not a lot that we know.
All right.
So let's move.
Yeah, let's just move on, I guess.
Yeah.
All right. So the next thing we're going to be talking about is the Pokemon of the Week. It's a new feature it's Sean's idea to pretty much do it. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at games we see over the week. It should probably be games that we ourselves cast at our local tournament or we see online that we think is really innovative. Yeah. But Pokemon of the Week for this week is going to be Absol. More specifically, it's going to be Mega Absol. Now, most people think Mega Absol isn't really competitive. It's one of the weaker Megas, and I'm not going to disagree with that. But what it does is it really breaks a hole in the meta that we have in the Northern California scene for singles. We have two games that are going to be casted by Broducer and Jellysound that are pretty much going to be...
Maybe we should introduce Pokemon a little first. Its abilities.
I will talk about its abilities. I'm not just going to jump right into it. But it's going to be... I was going to say, there's two games going to be casted by them really explaining how it works. Mega Absol's ability is Magic Bounce, correct? It pretty much any things like Taunt, Sleep Powder, Stealth Rock, Toxic Spike, Sleep Seed, all get bounced back at the user. Wow. So you can pretty much just not get walled. Or like, walls have a hard time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what it's really for. But when people really think about Absol, when they think about it, they think it's something that is kind of fast, not really 100-based speed, but it's obviously a physical attacker. It has great attack. It gets up to like 394 even before Mega Evolving. One of the highest attacks in the game. And when it Mega Evolves, it gets a lot more. Gets access to Night Slash, Sucker Punch, a bunch of dark moves. It also gets Super Power and Mega Horn. So it has a decent move pool. But what's different about...
It gets Play Rough.
It gets Play Rough this Gen 2.
Very type.
What I think that what really makes Mega Absol the Pokemon of the Week this week is that it's not standard like that. The Mega Absol we're going to be talking about is actually a special sweeper one that is modest or timid nature with... It has a great special attack pool of Flamethrower, Ice Beam, Thunderbolt. Also gets Dark Pulse, Will-O-Wisp, Taunt. There's a bunch of other moves you can put in that fourth slot. His special attack gets up to 363, I think, with Nature. So that's actually about as strong as a timid Latios, and no one's going to say Latios is weak.
No, not at all.
So
that's insanely strong, actually.
That's as a former Uber. So it's strong enough. It might not be the fastest thing, but after Mega Evolving, it actually gets faster than most dragons. So it can actually lay down the Ice Beams there too. What's negative about it is it's very frail, and this is pretty much a one-trick pony that's only really going to work once. Do you guys have any more thoughts on Absol before we start showing the videos?
Well, you were saying that its ability to be able to bounce that wall, not the wall itself, but Stealth Rocks and all that stuff, if it's like you said, a one-trick pony, like if it's good at what it does, then why not still use it? Like what makes it not as viable if it's just one trick that it's doing?
Okay, that's a great question. Well, Absol as a Pokemon is not a one-trick pony. This Absol, the special attacker one, is most definitely a one-trick pony because it can be walled by any type of special wall, and it will have to switch. It's so frail that it will pretty much die from anything, even a wall's attack, like a Ferrothorn Gyro Ball will destroy this thing.
Oh,
Ferrothorn
wow.
Power Whip will one-shot it. So you pretty much can't fight like a Blissey, which is in the 8 people last tournament brought Blissey. So
Yeah.
I mean,
Everyone loves those
once
egg
they know
Pokemon.
that once they know that they can safely send out Blissey by scouting your moveset, there's nothing you can do, and you're the one that's behind. But in reality, you would never want to send a Blissey out to fight Absol. So that's why it's a gimmick. That's why it's a one-trick pony.
I see.
Does that answer your question?
Yeah.
Alright.
It's
Do you
still
have anything to say about
useful,
it, Sean?
but people, if they catch on,
have
it
a
just won't be as effective as it usually is.
What'd you say, Sean?
I had a question.
Go ahead.
Like, I was just looking at its base stats. When it Mega Evolves, its defenses doesn't actually get any boosts, so it
Nope.
stays really frail.
It
So-
can die from anything.
Yeah. So I guess my question is, how do you use it? You obviously can't just switch in it anytime you want. You need to open up the right hole for it to break
Yeah,
through.
The way it
So-
works is... Or go ahead.
I was gonna ask, what kind of teammates would you want with an Absol to support it the right way?
Well, there's 2 to 3 different types of teammates you want for Mega Absol. There are other walls, and things like Suicide Weeds are great. Because if you Suicide Weed, you can send it out scot-free and safe against their wall that they send out after the Suicide Weed is set up. That's a great situation. Also, things like Scizor and Rotom that are really bulky but very slow, so they use a U-turn or Volt Switch that goes second. So pretty much you send Absol out for free while switching and doing damage at the same time. Also, if you know that their wall is going to go for a hazard, remember you don't get to pop your ability to turn until you're already out there. But like what I did in the tournament was I knew that Josh, who I fought in the finals, was going to use knockoff with his Tentacruel every time. I knew that I could eat a knockoff. And so I switched in on the knockoff. Knockoff does not knock off my Mega Stone. It's also a Dark Attack. Doesn't really affect me. So things like that.
Okay. So you just need to find the right opportunity.
Yeah, you pretty much need to send it out after something dies, or if it's very predictable what your opponent's going to be going for. But
Would you say it's a revenge killer?
I would say it's a revenge killer against walls. It's technically not very fast. It's actually a decent lead, because since people tend to lead with their walls, and what you want to fight is their wall 1v1 anyways, it's a great chance to do it. And worst case scenario, like I said, you pair them with walls anyways. If you see that they lead with a Greninja instead of their Ferrothorn, you can just swap to your wall and you'll be okay. You might be a turn behind, but you're not out down a Pokemon.
True.
Right.
I think any other questions that we're gonna want, we could get that in while we see this Absol in action, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So go ahead and shoot that video up.
All right, so this video was from the semifinals of the tournament we ran this Friday here at Mage's Realm, and it was a game against a guy named T and our very own Eyeshine. So let's get it started.
And T, I mean, like T's no scrub, right?
Yeah,
like
he's pretty good.
He
He,
shows a very
No,
good.
he's won the tournament like 2 or 3 times
Yeah.
before.
Yeah.
He knows what he's
So-
doing. All right, so you led with your Absol, like you said, which is
Yep,
a
that's fine.
decent idea, and he led with a Togekiss.
So like, wouldn't you be scared? Okay, you
Yeah.
switched it out right
So-
away too. All right, was that an intimidation factor? Eyeshine? What's going on?
All right, we're just gonna cast it. So,
okay, go for it.
Let's see. The T-Tar comes in, gets some Sandstream up. Sandstream is good for... Lost the connection. Sandstream is good just as a weather ability, especially if you've got Pokemon that can support it.
Is that good against a Togekiss?
What's good against a Togekiss is possible, like the fear of a rock attack. If he fears like a Stone Edge, a Togekiss will probably switch out. But he stayed in with the Aura Sphere, probably expecting to kill the Tyranitar.
What happened?
The call dropped.
Oh, okay. Are you guys still casting the
Yeah,
video?
we're in
Yeah,
the middle of the
what's
video.
going on?
He sent in his
Is Sean
Togekiss.
still in the video?
Sean should still be here. No,
Or
Sean's,
joining.
Sean's reconnecting.
Okay, cool. So I don't know what that was. It wasn't... Was it me?
I think it was the call. from
Sometimes
you.
Skype does it.
Okay, it's really no big deal.
Yeah.
How far are you guys into the video?
You just crit with a play rough on the washing machine Rotom, which was really fortunate for you just in this game.
Now, I want to explain that too. You have to know, I know from previous experience that T's Rotom is full speed special attack, so that's actually a one-shot either way. I've done it before without the crit.
Okay.
I was wondering why you opened up with the Absol. Like, why would you show off that trick? Or was it just an intimidation factor?
It's not an intimidation factor as much as T likes to lead with hazards. And so I expected him to lead with his Gliscor or his other wall.
Ferrothorn?
Yeah, I don't know if he had Ferrothorn. That should have been in the team preview.
He's Gliscor Blissey.
Yeah, so I expected him to lead with the Gliscor, and that's just, he didn't. And so I switched, which is completely fine.
Yep. Here we see you just switched your Scizor in against the Gengar, which you probably expected was going to Sludge Bomb your Azumarill, which
Yes,
you ate a T-Bolt instead, which is still fine. But it's a good move to switch to a Steel type when you're expecting a Sludge Bomb, because that resists.
Now we're seeing your Scizor fighting against this physical wall, and you're just running right through that Gliscor.
Well, I'm pretty much following myself to keep him honest.
Yeah.
Did my Scizor ever pop its item?
Yes.
And
Citrus
what
Berry.
item was that? It was Citrus Berry, right?
Indeed.
Alright, so I'm not watching the video because I don't know why it won't let me look at it, and the Twitch lag is so severe, but one of the things, I tried using double Citrus Berry in both of the finals, the semis and the finals. I really thought that brought a lot to the team, and I think that very strong play on Pokemon like Absol, or sorry, not like Scizor and Azumarill. That's another little difference of...
All right, we should probably talk about, you just Mega Evolved your Absol against the Gliscor, which I believe was your master plan all along. He used Protect and scouted out that you have Ice Beam and switched into his Blissey. So
T caught on to your shenanigans, but you just Will-O-Wisp right now.
yeah, you called the Blissey to predicted the switch to a special wall. You Will-O-Wisp it, which will kill it in enough turns, I believe.
Well, the way that I said you want to pair Absol with other walls, so if I use Will-O-Wisp on his Blissey and then switch to my Blissey then has the advantage. Like,
Yeah, not only that, you just brought out a T-Tar against him too now. So you got burn damage going on along with the Sandstorm. Like, that's going to chip away pretty fast.
I think my Skype keeps like, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay, because it keeps like stuttering, that's all. I don't know why.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. So
T's
it's a
item just
fight
popped.
wall versus wall.
Which are never
It's always
exciting.
exciting to watch.
It's he's seismic tossing you down. You can take 3 of them though. The first one takes you down to 49. You leftovers back up to just above 50, and so you can eat 3 seismic tosses. You get some stealth rocks, which is good for everything that you need to. Everything that he's going to send out later. Taking stealth rocks damage is a good thing for you.
So, the fact that his Blissey has Seismic Toss on your walls, do you generally want to have moves that do a set amount of HP damage?
Most walls, like Blissey is one of the ones that no one can really trade effectively with Blissey unless they have like a fighting type attack, like a physical fighting type attack. So it's very smart to put moves that do set damage on Blissey. You wouldn't really want that on Ferrothorn or Gliscor, but on Blissey it's great. Also, like Dusclops or things with Evilite, you'd want things that do set damage.
I see. His Gliscor just came back out against your T-Tar. There's
And you're going to let your Absol come into revenge kill it, I presume. Because it's going to Earthquake, kill your T-Tar. Where it could have roosted or protected.
yeah, he could have went for more health.
But there's no point.
Yep.
And so you see pretty much what Absol does is it pretty much, once it breaks a hole in the team, the rest of the team crumbles behind it. And that's what I want Absol to do. I want him to open up a hole in the team so the rest of my Pokemon can use their strengths to the best of their ability.
And I think that generally, like how you just said, when Absol pokes that hole, especially in one of their most like reliant walls, you really do see the team crumble, and you'll see the best example of that in the next battle.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is exactly what I set up to do.
That's just a general weakness all war teams have, because they have like 4 or 5 walls. If they lose one of the crucial walls, they can only wall out one side of the spectrum. They can't ward both physical and special attacks now. So they can't really just switch all day and wait for you to die to stuff like Toxic.
So essentially, by you blasting the heck out of Gliscor with that special attack Absol, it's kind of like if a person who didn't know what was going on got messed up by something. Like, I don't know what I'm trying to explain, but basically, when someone makes a no switch against something that should have been switched out, that's basically what you're doing. You're like forcing that.
Yeah. That's kind of how it goes.
So that's the trick then.
Here's the last play of the game that we're about to see. This was very exciting to see. You've got Garchomp and Lucario.
Now it looks like T's still kind of winning here, right?
A little bit, although you've still got an Absol that knows Ice Beam, and I believe
Garchomp is much faster than Absol.
Yep. So Garchomp comes in, Earthquakes the Lucario who's holding a Focus Sash, and then you use Counter.
Completely
and
play out
shot
of left field.
Yeah.
You know, I mean,
nobody saw that coming.
Yeah, what people think when they look at my team, what did I have? I had Absol, Lucario.
Was that Garchomp sashed?
The Garchomp was banded. The Garchomp was banded. T always
Shouldn't
bans
the Absol be faster than Garchomp?
This Absol is a modest Absol. It's made to break things like Rotom Wash on swaps.
Right.
And so if you were timid, you could potentially be faster. But since a lot of people scarf their Garchomps and Salamances, I'd rather keep myself honest by getting a safe kill on Rotom Washes than trying to speed tie dragons.
Right.
And so one of the things about my team is when you look at my team, you think, well, he has like 3 things that could potentially mega. When you see one thing mega, you assume that I have a wasted mega. That's what he assumed. That's why he went for the Earthquake instead of a Swords Dance or a substitute. Also, he was banded, but like that's why it was completely safe for me to do that. And things like a Sash Lucario, that's completely Gen 4. That's so amazing.
So there was a chance that your Sash wouldn't even have worked, right? Like, he could have just died to the Earthquake, right?
I would have 100% died to the Earthquake.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I knew that he would Earthquake me. Like I said, I killed the Gliscor, which means my Lucario had the chance to go for the kill that needed to happen the most. I needed to kill the Garchomp before I could win the game. And Absol really made the hole in the team that let that happen.
Yeah, with the Gliscor down. And then you got, I think you were at 5 HP after a Gengar's attack, and then managed to wipe it out for the game.
But I still had another Pokemon left in my team.
Yeah, Garchomp was in your back pocket the whole time.
Yeah,
nice.
So I could have killed his Gengar with my Garchomp. Wouldn't really have been a big deal. I just wanted to win with Absol.
But just the versatility that you managed to just be at 5 HP, that's a nice thing to have happen.
You know, normally moves don't kill unless they're super effective.
Yeah.
And so, like, almost dying to a stabbed Sludge Bomb is actually kind of sad.
Yeah. So this next battle that we're about to show was
Well,
with...
are we doing something in between, or are we just showing them back to back?
We can talk about the battle before, because do you guys have it like a little up there? Can you see
I
Josh's
will in a
team?
second.
Because if you pull it up before starting it, we can just talk about Josh's team for a sec, and then get right into it.
Do you want to start a raffle? This is what Jonathan was trying to
Does Jonathan want? Yeah, let's do a raffle.
Yep. All right. So, everyone in the chat needs to say something. Speak in the chat.
Let's do the keyword being Absol.
Actually, I think I can set a keyword, can't I?
Yep. For those of you that want to be in this raffle for an Absol.
All right. So the keyword will be Absol.
This is an Ivory-bred Absol, just like the one that I used in my tournament,
Absol.
except for it does not come with a Mega Stone. You got to use your own.
You get an Absolite just by beating when you finish the game. So
Yeah.
everyone should have one.
Absol.
All right, we've got one entrant in. If you type Absol for all the viewers who are here,
As John baited you. I mean, Jellysound baited you just to type random stuff.
well, it would. I'd put in a keyword now. So type in Absol, 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 into the chat in order to be entered to win a free Absol.
Trained by Aisha.
Now, I also want to know if they want a modest or timid one. The one I use is modest because it can actually two-shot Rotom Waters after a switch in with Dark Pulse. But if you want a timid one to outspeed dragons, I can also give you a timid one.
I think we'll do that for the winner.
Yeah, the winner.
Which one?
Well, whoever wins one can let you know.
That's what I meant. Like,
Yeah,
when whoever
okay.
wins, it would. I guess there's not many people that want Absols. It's okay.
Alright,
Oh
there's
no, we
this
have
third one.
3 people that want
There we
Absol.
go.
Oh,
It takes 40
snap.
seconds for them to start entering.
Oh,
yeah.
okay, yeah, so they're
things
entering
in.
now. All right, I was like, I guess no
Twitch,
one wants it.
Twitch has put an epistemic distance between us and you.
Yeah.
You'll never be as connected as we would like.
Yeah.
And pretty much while I'm doing the raffle for the Absols, you guys can talk about the next video if you want.
So, well, I just wanted to talk about Josh in general. Like, he doesn't really get to come out to tournaments and doesn't get to see what the meta generally is, but he really made a big splash at this tournament with some not so seen often Pokemon, specifically the Ferrothorn and the Tentacruel.
Wait. This is a game?
But you had played against him earlier in the tournament, right,
This is
Philip?
a game against Alex. Where's the game against Josh?
Oh my gosh. Well, we lost Eyeshine for a second again, so we'll reconnect.
He'll be back momentarily.
It should be again the game against Josh as the
Yeah.
2 that we're doing. But yeah, Josh, he doesn't really get to come out to tournaments too often. He's a working man, and sometimes working takes you away from being a Pokemon trainer. But he has, I think, participated in at least 2, and in each of those 2, he top 4'd. So it's really exciting to see his innovations of what he thinks is going to work. Again, for those of you that were watching the stream on Friday nights, as we stream our local tournaments on Friday night, his biggest, I would say, innovations were the Ferrothorn with Rocky Helmet and Barbs, along with the Tentacruel with Knockoff. And what Knockoff was doing was like, that stuff was intense, wasn't it? Being able to knock off an item.
Yes.
You know, and everyone loves their items, and it does even more damage. He was saying
Right,
when they
back?
hold an item, right?
Can I call group again?
You should have been able to join call, but we have Sean.
Are we back?
Okay. Again, Skype
did
bloopers,
you
guys.
guys-
Sorry about that.
That happened for you guys though too?
I don't know.
Yeah, we all got kicked.
I guess.
Okay.
I'm sure. I just recalled the group. So this is a game against Alex, Philip. The code that you gave. I don't know if do you have one against
Josh.
the one with Josh?
Oh, did I give you the wrong code?
Yes.
Okay, let me just see if I have the right code.
I was explaining to the viewers though that you had played Josh in that tournament 2 times, right?
Yeah, and I lost the first time, and the second time I brought my Absol.
And so the first time you didn't have Absol?
Nope, and I knew after I saw his team that Absol would work 100%. Let me just see if I can get the code, and I don't know why I gave you a code for the one against Alex.
All right. In the meantime, I think that's good enough for the first round of people trying to get
I guess
Absols.
there's a 1 in 4 chance for you to win an Absol, so I'm gonna roll the dice. I'm gonna wait another. Should I wait another minute? I don't know.
I think
they've
this
had
is
plenty
good.
of time to type in the word
Exactly.
Absol. in the
Absol
chat.
has been. They probably have heard all the words that we have said that could be with Absol. And as a Pucha Darcy, I don't know how to say that word, but as they say, more absolutely. So yeah, now we're even getting creative with the word Absol.
That's the name of my Absols.
Absolutely.
Oh, really? Nice. All right.
Alright.
So we're
Here's
gonna
the
roll.
roll the
Here's the
dice.
first Absol to give away, and it goes to Asher
Asher
2075.
2075. You have won a free Absol. I need your friend code in the chat.
And if you would like a timid or a modest one, so
Yes.
Eyeshine, would you like to say what the difference between those 2 natures did for them again?
Modest is you can like 2-shot Rotom Water on a swap in. You can pretty much 2-shot a lot of bulkier Pokemon. Timid lets you speed tie or potentially outspeed dragons. I personally like the modest one, but it's really up to you.
And
what
modest.
I'm
Modest was the one that you were using in the tournament, right?
Yeah, it was. But that was also to take out our meta. Depending on how you play or where you play, timid is it's actually better. But I knew that I could get away with modest, that's why I did it.
So Asher, if you're still there,
Yep.
as long as you let us know if you would like a timid Absol or a modest Absol.
And there will also be a lot more to be raffled off.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
we have quite a few Absols to give away. So for those of you that were hoping to win one, you still have a huge chance, considering there was only 4 entries for it.
Yeah.
We have
And I'll put my friend code in there. So I don't know why we keep like these thing anyways, but what we can do is talk about. Did you get the battle video code?
Where did you put it?
I put it in the chat, like the actual Twitch chat.
The actual Twitch chat.
I don't see anything.
I don't see it.
It's right under Hollow Pipe.
Right underneath Hollow Pipe is more Pucha Darcy.
Yeah, that's I typed something in there.
I don't see it though.
We're not
Let me
seeing
put
it.
Let me put it in the Skype chat.
Put it in the
Put it in
Skype
the Skype
chat.
chat. That's a sure thing. Sure, shine, have a good time.
Sorry for the delay.
It's all right.
So was the game against Alex like a test run essentially? Like
No, the
before
game
the
against
tournament?
Alex didn't have Absol in it.
Oh, it didn't have Absol at all. Okay.
That was my game from the first round.
Oh, okay. Oh, Alex as in not the person that hangs out with you all the time, Alex, but Alex
No.
as in Tease Alex.
Yep. And
See,
also another thing
Agro
that
16.
what is
Yeah.
it? Josh's team, he must have been talking with T
Mm-hmm.
because he used the same meta as T does. Josh had a complete meta of what our meta is.
Really?
Yeah.
There's a well, but not maybe strategy wise, but not verbatim for Pokemon, right?
He had the same Pokemon that are in our meta and the same moves that are in our meta. So he must have talked to T or something before, because that's really T that is the one that's pioneering it. He had a team that's almost exact to T's if you look at it.
I see.
But we'll talk about that when we get into it. I need to trade this to Asher.
Yeah.
Yep,
You see the friend code, right?
Yeah,
Asher,
I see. I already added it.
Fantastic.
Sir.
take iShine's friend code, which is right above where you said you sent it, and then you're gonna need to type that in and add as him as a friend, as he's the
did.
one who holds the keys to all of the Absols. So Asher, 2075. iShine is your master.
Alright.
Your
And is his
master.
name Asher in game? That's what I need to know.
Yeah. So give us your IGN as well sometime.
Alright, so another thing is about Josh's team. What's really cool about his team is he didn't actually use a Mega, and the only potential Mega he has is Alakazam. So
Yeah.
what that brings to the table is, if anything, you look at his team and thinks he sucks.
Oh,
like-
that's
it's
some
like a
BM
reverse
right there. Shots
Yeah.
fired.
It's a pretty much a I don't know. It was kind of funny. But he didn't actually use a Mega. What his team was, he had 4 basic walls. He had 2 special walls and 2 physical walls, a Revenge Killer, and a Sash user. So his team was probably the best team in the tournament. It's just that my team was made to beat his. And since him and T have such similar teams and playstyles,
The whole
the
group
same
is-
combo worked twice.
The whole group has been using the Blissey
Bliss.
Gliscor combo, which has really been devastating.
Also
Yep.
boring.
And Absol, it's pretty boring.
Yeah.
So
But
we
it's
can
not
actually
as
talk-
oh, go ahead.
But let's actually talk about why Blissey Gliscor works. You know, it's one's a physical wall, and the other one is a special wall that also has physical bulk. They resist each other's defenses, like since Gliscor is weak to like things like ice and other stuff. You know, people are talking where I am. Anyways, it's weak. It has weakness to special attacks, and Blissey walls them. Now, Blissey has weakness to physical attacks, like fighting attacks. Gliscor walls those, and also Gliscor having flying type. It pretty much can swap it on earthquakes, get its free poison heal, and toxic stall anything.
Yeah, it's a beastie.
What is the
Alright.
difference just from the previous use of Blissey Skarmory?
Well, Gliscor brings to the table the potential to stall, where Skarmory puts up hazards. What you see in Gen 6 is people pretty much going away from Bliss Skarm and going into Bliss Gliscor with the addition of Ferrothorn for your hazards. So you have another third wall in there, which is what Josh did. He
Yeah.
also added in a new spinner. He added in Tentacruel. So he even brought another spectrum into it. I need to know if Asher wants a timid or a modest one.
Oh, yes, Asher. Respond if you would like a timid Absol or a modest Absol.
Totally up to you.
These are the raffle Absols are perfectly bred, competitively ready.
You said 5 to 6 IVs, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're all ready to go. Anyways, you guys are
thank
looking
you
at the
for the
team
2
preview, right? Or
follows.
are you watching the battle?
Yes, we're looking at the team preview right now.
So let's look at my team. Name off what my team is.
All right, you have
I can't see.
Greninja, Absol, Garchomp, Azumarill, Scizor, and Blissey.
Now, the first time I fought Josh, I didn't even bring a special attack because I was very confident, and it came down the wire and I lost. But this time I fought him a lot more serious, and you'll really be able to see in the battle.
Okay, so let's roll it.
All right, so let's get this started.
So it's up to you guys to cast. I'm trading people.
Yep.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Let's see. He led with Josh throughout the tournament. He led with his Tentacruel a lot, but here he chooses to lead with an Alakazam, which is his Sash user. And
Which
we
is what
see-
I predicted him to lead with the Tentacruel.
Yep.
Yeah.
Which is why you threw out your Greninja. He still goes for a swap. and sends in his Ferrothorn. So he's planning to wall you out and set up some hazards.
So this is the third wall that Aishan was talking about, right? So not he can be seen as a physical wall, but more of like a setup wall.
Yep.
Yeah, he's a physical wall, but he actually has weaknesses to common physical typings, like fighting. So while he is a secondary physical wall, what he's really for is the Rocky Helmet Iron Barbs combo. So he will switch in, eat an attack, and chunk you for a quarter, and then switch out. That's what the Ferrothorn's really there for.
And there he called the taunt, which is why he used Power Whip instead of one of his setup attacks.
And
Power
it's
Whip
such a flashy move too. I'm sorry, I
Power
love
Whip.
that animation.
So you've sent out Swizzor to combat the Ferrothorn.
And it's not even like a good matchup for me.
But I saw you chunk through a different Gliscor before with Scizor.
Oh, you can do it, but the thing is, I'm only doing this because looking at his team, Scizor is very ineffective against his team.
Yep.
And now your Absol's out.
Yep.
And this is when Josh just did not see this coming at all. Like, this was way out of left field for me because
Yeah.
I didn't get to see the first time when you were fighting against T with this.
So here he's protect the first turn, correct? No.
No, he just got wasted.
He just gets Ice Beamed one shot his Gliscor. His Gliscor is now down.
And he
the
did
only,
not see that coming.
The only physical wall he's got left is his Ferrothorn, and it's at about half. So things aren't looking too good for him. You've burned another Blissey.
And one other thing is, I brought a Azumarill on that team, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And so one thing Azumarill is, once Ferrothorn is at less than 70%, Azumarill can one-shot with superpower. So he's pretty much in my death range now.
Yep.
And the fact that he used Ice Beam back at your Absol when you said it was so fragile, would you say that was a bad move on his part as well?
What was that?
His Blissey uses Ice Beam against your Absol, and earlier we were saying like some of the weaknesses of Mega Absol is that it's so fragile. Would you say that was the wrong move to do?
That was the right move to do. It's just that I'd get two-shotted by it. And his Blissey is an exact copy of my Special Super Blissey. It's a little bit different from T's that does static damage. So it's the only real option he has. He doesn't want to go for Thunder and miss. Actually, I think Josh has Thunderbolt.
I believe so.
I would Ice Beam is the 100% best move to do in that situation.
I see.
And Blissey is the best Pokemon to send out.
So now you're up against his other super HP'd up Tentacruel and just used Flamethrower into the switch. Were you expecting to see Tentacruel?
I was eventually expecting to see Tentacruel. I still have Absol out, correct?
No, now
you
switched
swapped into
from Blissey,
and
and now
you
you're
switch
going back into
Absol
Absol.
for the
My bad.
Tentacruel.
Yep, because I'm expecting the knockoff,
Yep,
I think.
and
Because I'm
you did.
not watching the battle. I'm just...
You
Yeah.
called off the
You're
knockoff.
you're just
or
trading.
called out the knockoff, and it did very little damage, which is what you expected. And then you go for another Will-O-Wisp.
So that extra proc damage from having a held item from knockoff, does that not trigger from holding a Mega Stone?
Yep, it's you don't take the extra damage, which means it's not even worth for them to go for it. And he would use that all tournament, so I pretty much just called him on it.
Yeah. Well, that's unfortunate.
And then your Absol's last action was burning the Tentacruel.
Which is fine, because I killed Gliscor, I burned Blissey, and I burned Tentacruel.
Yep. And then you throw out your Garchomp to Earthquake at one shot.
And just like that, he's only down to 2 walls out of his 4-wall team,
Yeah,
right?
and his Alakazam doesn't do much here at all.
His Alakazam is hoping to just get an attack in through its sash.
It makes me wonder what his Alakazam is there for, because it doesn't ever Mega Evolve this entire tournament, doesn't it?
Well, it's holding a Focus Sash.
It's holding the Focus Sash.
Yep.
What Alakazam's ability is Magic Guard, I think. Yeah.
Yep.
So things like hazards and sandstorm and stuff like that will never break its sash. So you pretty much have an
always
Alakazam.
have to two-shot it.
You always have to two-shot it no matter what.
So is there a reason you put Will-O-Wisp on your Mega Absol instead of another coverage move, say Flamethrower?
I have Flamethrower. I actually took Dark Pulse off to fight in the semis because I knew that the amount of Rotoms I would see would be greatly reduced. And what Willow's does is it cripples walls like Tentacruel and Serene Grace Blissey, which I know both the members copied from me. So it pretty much just adds that extra little cripple. It lets my walls be able to wall their walls because I Will-O-Wisp, eat a weak attack, and then switch to my wall.
Yep.
It's very strong.
You know, speaking of walls, there was a Kai, a person that didn't become a very big fan favorite, with just a team of walls, and it seems that this meta, at least in this local store, is gravitating slowly towards wall on wall.
teams, yeah.
It's pretty much up to me and Sean to kill all the people with the walls. That's what it's starting to look like.
Yep.
So what's happening in the game right now?
Oh yeah, Jonathan.
Ferrothorn's coming in to take out what you have left. You threw at your Azumarill to fight off. He's going to switch into his Blissey, which is in superpower range, I believe.
Their Blissies are always within superpower range.
So
That
free.
huge power, superpower, that's something to fear. So he did a double swap there. Into his Alakazam, which is gonna die. It's already taken some damage.
But
so.
generally, at this point of the game, with him losing Gliscor so soon, and how we said that basically the team crumbles once you poke that and you penetrate through that, like, psychologically, I could imagine that he can't really see himself getting out of this situation, right?
Yeah.
And that's just what you want. And not only does, like, he's psychologically at a disadvantage because I killed his Gliscor, his Gliscor got killed by something that made him look like he was bad.
Mm-hmm.
And if it were me playing in his position, I'd be embarrassed because there's a bunch of people watching the stream, there's a bunch of people watching him. That's just a little added thing that goes on top of it.
Mm. So not only is the team crumbling, but you're trying to mind game your opponent in a sense, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Yeah, because normally Gliscor was the physical version of Absol's pretty well.
Mm.
That's what it's for, yeah. He swapped, he left his Gliscor in thinking that he would be fine.
Yeah. And he was completely unprepared for the Mega Ice Beam.
The Mega Ice Beam.
This Ferrothorn's dunzos.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
so he threw out he's just trying to do as much damage as he could to your Azumarill, trying to kill it before it took him out. And it just, it didn't end up working. You took out the Blissey. You took out the Talonflame. Talk about his Talonflame a little. His Talonflame runs without an item and uses acrobatics instead of the traditional Brave Bird. Yeah.
Mm.
I'm not agreeing with that, but that's just the way I would play Talonflame. I think Talonflame has a lot more versatility if you put in like a Life Orb on it, or even leftovers and go for like a Roost Swords Dance set. Or even like a Lumberry to swap in, like, because Talonflame is a Pokemon that doesn't need an item like Josh is previewing. So if you put like a Lumberry on it and use a standard set, you can then swap in anytime you know your opponent's going to use a Toxic or use a Thunder Wave and pretty much just waste that and get a free turn off of it.
Yeah.
If you do a Life Orb set, you do more damage. I just think that, and also Acrobatics is like weaker than Brave Bird, isn't it? Or it might even be a little
I
bit
think
stronger.
it's without an item, it's 110. Brave Bird is 120. So
Yeah, so
10
I
points.
really just don't think that it's very strong.
Mm. But what are the advantages of being able to run something like acrobatics? Like,
if you use a Flying Gem,
Mhm.
you'll get the full damage plus the Flying Gem set. But you could just run a Flying Gem with Brave Bird as well.
mm.
But you can't
But
even
you
run a
don't
Flying
take any
Gem.
residual damage.
You can't run a Flying Gem. It's not in the game. And when it comes into the game, it's only going to be a 1.3 boost, which means it's not even worth it then.
Mm.
I think the reason he does it is because Brave Bird does 33% recoil to you, and Acrobatics will not, and it is only a 10-point difference when you're thinking about that.
Also, when we were looking at his Talonflame, when Sean played it in the top 4, he had a Pokemon that was faster when it didn't use a flying type attack. So that means that his EV training means he's probably heavily invested in HP. So he has a little bit more bulk than your average Talonflame and doesn't hurt himself. So I can see why he would go for the set. It's just personally I would not play a set like that.
I see. All right then. Those are the battles that showcased the power of that Absol. Especially
We're going to talk about Tentacruel a bit. Or did we already go over that enough?
I think Tentacruel's going to have to show a little bit more off before we actually go deep into it. But
It didn't get to Rapid Spin in any of the battles in the battle that we saw, but
I
Rapid
don't
Spin.
use hazards.
Yeah.
yeah, I don't
See,
think.
another cool thing about Mega Absol is its base attack is 150. That's the same as base attack of Groudon, and that's like a Uber. So it might not be a bad idea to run like Naive Nature since its defense is so low anyway, and give it Sucker Punch.
That's
Yeah,
another
you're-
definite possibility. Mine was just
you can
made... You're good.
Yeah, with Sucker Punch, you can also mind game people a lot. You can send it out to Revenge Kill with Sucker Punch, and it will probably send out a physical wall to stop you, and you can just kill them with your special attacks.
The thing about Absol, it's a wall breaker, so I don't know about Sucker Punch as much as I would probably rather have Night Slash or maybe even Superpower, because Superpower brings a complete other thing to the table. If you were to put Superpower on him, he could then potentially kill Blissies, while still being able to kill all the special walls. He'd be a lot less gimmicky and a lot more, this is a very solid Pokemon that is going to be great in the lower tiers.
So, as you're saying, he's a wall breaker. What happens like when this local, at least, meta is affected by the fact that you guys are just smashing through their walls and they start going into physical sweepers? Is he not fast enough to compete with other, fast fighters?
Well, he's not a sweeper, like I said. He's not fast enough to be a sweeper. He's a wall breaker. He breaks the slow walls in one shot. That's what he does. Patrick just talked in the chat. If he didn't just fodder the Gliscor, his Tentacruel would have been able to show off a lot more. That's 100% because Gliscor and Tentacruel cover their weaknesses almost perfectly. Gliscor's weak against ice and water. Tentacruel's weak against ground. They cover each other, and electric. They're perfect synergy together. Yeah. And he wasn't foddering his Gliscor. He did not know that I was a Special Sweeper Absol, which is why he died.
The Ice Beam came out of nowhere.
Yeah, he expected me to be a standard Absol, which Gliscor would have 100% been able to wall, which is why this is a gimmick, which is why after sweeping the semis and the finals with Absol, something like this will never work again.
Yeah.
At least on our local. And the only way it could work is if I brought like a regular Absol and people switched their Blissies to eat like my Swords Dance Night Slash.
It must be interesting having to set up that stuff, since people kind of, go off of your innovations and stuff. It's like playing against yourself, essentially, like each week. How does that feel?
Well, no. Every week, like T brought Togekiss and Blissey, and I think the Garchomp. Those are all sets that I used on him in the past.
Yeah.
Patrick's right.
Well, I mean, you play against people, they see something that works, they build it themselves to test out, and then the fact that it does work, it changes our local meta.
Yeah, Patrick just said in the chat, Pokemon like Phillips Absol not gonna work more than once. He's 100% right. This is a gimmick that will only work once.
So you're saying that we won't be getting a chance to see your Absol for quite some time.
The only way you'll get to see
it on stream.
Well, I mean, for this local tournament.
Not at this tournament.
Yeah, or if I use another Absol and then people think it's the same one and it's actually a regular standard Absol with Swords Dance Night Slash Sucker Punch, Mega Horn, stuff like that.
I'd love to see you work in with Sean's innovation of having that naughty Absol, though. Who doesn't like a naughty
the reason
Pokemon?
why I wanted to use this Absol now was because Pokebank's going to come out, and once Pokebank's out, there's no reason to use this thing ever again.
I see. That's so sad to say, though. So, I think we can give out another Absol, right?
Yeah, we can give another one.
Yeah, I'm going to roll everybody who's typing in chat. If you just type something in chat, if you're active in the chat, then all 15 of you viewers are entered in already. So if you just say anything in the chat, I'm not going to go all the way the keyword because only 4 people enter the keyword, and I would prefer to have 15 people entered in the raffle than the 4 that entered in the raffle.
But what if they don't have the Pokemon game?
All right.
Well, we'll just see. We'll just go with it as it goes.
About 50 seconds, because then you'll have heard this and have had plenty of time to say something in the chat. Then I'm gonna hit the roll button and see. There you go, Liru.
Alex just joined the chat. Alex Gross.
Yep. Words nice.
So, while we wait, does anyone got a Pokemon haiku?
No, that's your thing, man.
Yeah.
What was my thing? I told Jonathan that it was his homework.
I had a haiku that I read the other day. I could put that down.
All right.
I just read that.
Let's go with that.
from the tournament, just because it was.
Oh, for those of you that missed out on our tournament haiku.
Did you want to grab the hats real quick?
Okay, sure. Here.
How long are we gonna have the raffle thing going? Like, when are we gonna cut it? How many people?
In like 10 seconds. Once I read this haiku, actually, yeah. That's pretty much.
Did you say what's the haiku, Sean?
No, I said after the haiku.
Oh, okay, after the haiku.
Alright. So, you need to be in the shot. Okay. So, Wobbuffet is here with Torchic and Dratini. #1 stream.
All right, that's Pokemon haiku for the week. We'll have something better. We'll have something more better prepared.
I think the three of us casting the tournament, we're each wearing a Pokemon hat. Dragon Dia is the one who made them. So.
Banned.
All right. So you wanna wrap off the thing now?
Yep. And hit the roll button, and we're gonna roll. And the person doesn't have a name. Agra16 is the winner.
Of an Absol.
Alex, I need to go
Alright,
so
he just has to say if he wants a timid or a modest.
Yep.
Yeah, I just gotta go find
And
my.
if iShine
my
wants
friend.
to once again roll down on why
You have the charger.
Wait, I
yeah,
don't even need to post my friend
why
code.
you would want a timid or a modest, go ahead and say that
Because-
again. I can't hear you, so.
Are you talking to me?
We just need to know if, Agros needs to tell us if he wants a timid or a modest one, and then iShine will trade it to him.
Well, the thing is, like, I don't even need to add Alex's friend code because I already have it, so it's awesome.
Yeah. Real convenient. Alright.
Convenient.
So,
Alright, the next thing we're going to talk about is VGC season is coming up in a couple weeks. I'll try to trade Alex. I think he probably just needs to grab his DS. Alright, so he wants timid. Are you getting online, Alex?
Okay, I actually have to take off, guys, so I'll catch you later.
alright, so Broducer is out.
The producer's out. Alright, so it's just us, and then there were 3. Yeah, so I'll give you a... I actually don't need a Darumaka. I'm good. I don't need one, Patrick. If he wants to give me one, I'll take it, but like we have 6-star Manitans that are already ready to go in black and white. Just wait like 3 days and we'll transfer them over.
I didn't know what you said earlier either.
Anyways, so let's just talk about
VGC?
VGC. So what's going to happen is the dates and locations are going to be January 11th and 12th. It's going to be in Virginia. 18th and 19th are going to be in Missouri, California, and Oregon. So that means that you can only really pick one to go to because they're all on the same date. And then the last one for this winter season is going to be 26th and January 25th and 26th in Florida. So pretty much that means for us, we're probably going to be going to the one in California, and that's pretty much the only one we're going to be able to go to this season.
Yep.
Rules, it's obviously doubles format and gets to be Kalos native. So that means things like Togekiss, while you can catch it in the game in like the Friend Safari, you can't really, you can't use it because it's not native to the Kalos deck.
Yep. And there are a couple exceptions on slight things like that because it says that hidden abilities are allowed. Let's say that because you can only get the hidden ability in the Friend Safari, if it is a Kalos native, then you can still go to the Friend Safari, get one with a hidden ability, and then you can still use it to enter in a VGC.
An example is Greninja. You know, he gets
Yep.
protein.
Or Infiltrator, Litwick, or Chandelure.
Well, that's actually pretty good.
Shh.
Also,
Secret.
you cannot use the event Blaziken or Torchic.
Yep, that kind of sucks. Alright,
Do you
so
want-
I'm trading Alex right now. We can also talk about the startup tournament. The UK Nationals were a couple weeks ago. If you go to nuggetbridge.com, they have the whole full write-up for that. That's the first real VGC tournament that's actually been out since X and Y release. So what happened there was there was a completely different meta than what people are expecting it to be. There's a lot of Charizards and Venusaurs, and a lot of Rotom Fires, and I really think that that is a completely different meta than what we're looking at. We're looking at like Kangaskhan's and Mawiles.
Yep.
Yeah, I think Sean just linked the Nugget Bridge report. I really think that Charizard Y is going to make a bigger impact than most people think, paired obviously very well with Venusaur, whose hidden ability is Chlorophyll.
Yeah.
So things like that can really catch people off guard. The standard NA metas like Trick Room and obviously Kangaskhan, like I said, but a team that can be super fast with a Chlorophyll or Wall with a Mega Venusaur that you can't call right off the bat. Because what if the Venusaur popped a Sunny Day and the Charizard with Solar Power, and then the next it to be like a Charizard Y and then a Chlorophyll Venusaur, or like a Mega Venusaur and then a Solar Power Charizard. There's just so many different options that brings to the table, and I think it's very good. I think it's a good thing for the metagame. What do you guys think?
Do you think we're gonna see what is it, the star that you're seeing is thinking Mega Manectric for VGCs?
Well, that's personally a Pokemon that I'm working on for VGC. That I think Mega Manectric counters Charizard Y, Charizard counters Kangaskhan, it counters Dragons, it also counters Talonflame very well. But that's just my own personal thing. We'll talk about that probably next week. I don't know, what Megas do you guys think are going to be the best this season?
I like Mega Mawile. It's really strong even without a Sword Stance, which people don't usually run in VGC anyway. But it does bring Intimidate support, and it has really good defenses. Well, not defense, resistances. And
It's also one of the few things to get play rough in doubles. You don't really see that many Azumarils, and while you might see a couple things that are Fairy type, you don't really see any Fairy attacks. especially stabbed ones. So I think Mega Mawile is a great addition to any team because Intimidate obviously is the best ability in doubles. Yeah, I think Mega Mawile is a great Pokemon.
I think
Also, good.
as far as Mega Gyarados, just for the Mold Breaker, plus it brings Intimidate. I think that's a really good combo.
I think it's a good combo, but what are you pairing it with? You see, it's
You need to pair with
predictable
something
with Gyarados.
flying.
You need to pair with something flying. So things that are common flyings are Talonflame. We even saw at the UK Nationals, we saw a guy that, no, it wasn't the UK Nationals, it was the NYC Elite Tournament. Someone went back to a 2010 combo of Aerodactyl Smackdown. The way that works is Aerodactyl's you stash it and it's faster than Gyarados, so you smack down their flying type and then you can hit them both with a double Earthquake. That's another combo that really works.
Yep. And there was also the, what's it called? Weakness policy. You hit your own Aegislash with an Earthquake.
Yeah, that worked too, but the thing is, like, Aegislash is kind of awkward in doubles right now. It's pretty much just, it's more luck-based even in singles because, well, it can kill something. It can kill just anything it wants. If, like, that person that it tries to attack uses Protect, its partner can then kill the Aegislash because it's stuck in attack mode. So it's like it's a literal glass cannon in doubles.
Yeah. What do you think about Mega Garchomp?
You know, I tested Mega Garchomp in doubles. I tested it for about 12 games, and I just came to the conclusion that using your Mega on Mega Garchomp is a waste when you could just choice ban your Garchomp. And that's a combo that Aaron Zhang's been working with. He's been really using the choice ban Garchomp, and it's been working really well for him. I personally don't like it as much because I like running Salamence. I don't like pairing that with a Garchomp. I don't like the 4 times resist to Ice. In 2 places on my team, I'd really hate to fight that guy that leads with choice Scarf Abomasnow. That's just my opinion. I think other potential Megas, like I said, are Manectric. Kangaskhan's probably the best one. Also, Scizor is very good. So
Yep.
that's what we gotta watch out for.
Scizor is one that I was gonna mention too.
Yeah, so I think the tier list would probably be Kangaskhan, Charizard in the top tier, and then things like Mawile, Scizor, and then things like Gyarados and Venusaur. That would be the list. You could also potentially see Mega Metachamps because they get Fake Out.
What do you think of Mega Gengars?
Mega Gengar is a Pokemon that if you see Gengar, I would be happy if my opponent Mega Evolved with a Gengar, so it doesn't have a Sash. In doubles, what happens is if you see a Mega Gengar, it then can get hit with Earthquake after it Mega Evolves.
Yep.
So the only real things you can safely lead it with are things like Greninja. So if it's like Greninja Gengar lead, and they pop a substitute with the Mega Gengar and a Mat Block with a Greninja, even if Greninja dies, but I don't think it will because they'll probably be sashed, and they're going to think they have to kill the Gengar, because they're really expecting the Gengar to be the Sash and the Greninja to have either a Specs or Orb. That's what they would really expect. That's what I would expect. That way, your Greninja's safe, and you pretty much have 2 Gengars. So that's the only real way to use Mega Gengar, in my opinion. Other ways to potentially do it with Rage Powder, but I think that you're safest with the Greninja lead. And then one of the strengths is also avoiding double Intimidates right off the bat, but then you're really walled out by things like Amoonguss. So,
Right.
yeah.
So it's gimmicky and predictable.
It's very gimmicky, and like that's the type of combo that can get you like a quick 4-0 in the VGC, but you'll lose the next 2 rounds if you rely on it too much. It's just like standard things like Water Spout, Jellysound back in Gen 5. It's a very niche combo that's extremely obvious the later you get in the tournament.
Right.
So you guys have any other questions?
Well, I was actually just gonna ask what someone asked in the chat. What do you think some good support walls that we're gonna see VGC to be? I think people were working on Amoongus's, but just for the Spore.
So yeah, I see a lot of Amoongus's. What is that? Meowstic is probably the best support wall. Klefki's also there. They both get Prankster. They both get Swagger, things like Thunder Wave. I think even Meowstic gets Trick Room. So those 2 probably have the best support walls. The coolest support wall I've seen is that Frou-Frou. Is that how you pronounce it? Frou-Frou? Whatever, that dog?
Frou-Frou, I believe.
So I saw one on ladder playing against like a 1900 Japanese guy. He had a Tail Whip, Snarl, Baby Doll Eyes, and Sunny Day. And what that really brought to the table, you can't kill a Pokemon like that. It won't die. You have to leave it till the very end. And the whole time, it just makes your team weaker. So he paired it with things that pretty much were bulky and got stat boosts. So if you were to think about it, it's like, all right, let's say you don't have Flamethrower on any of your Pokemon, and you see the Frou-Frou, If it goes for the Snarl, drops both their special attacks. Things like Scizor have free reign to do things like Swords Dance. So if you're thinking about using a potential support Pokemon, I think that's the #1 support. Like for the most actual support, like the most white mage. Other potential support Pokemon are obviously Rotom Wash, any forms of the Rotoms. They provide great coverage, great bulk, Will-O-Wisp, Discharge, Trick, things like that.
It's also Aromatase.
Aromatase, that thing is also really good.
Yeah.
I saw one on ladder today. Their common items are like safety goggles, so they can't be put to sleep by Amoonguses or Vivillons. And Cosmic Power, and then their teammate like Psych-Ups them. That's another real common thing you see at the high-end Japanese ladder, but it can be taken out and dealt with. With most support walls, you want to ignore them until they're pretty much useless, until they're all alone. But with a thing like Aromatase, you want to kill that as soon as possible.
What do you think of just in general Swirlix and Aromatase just as their walls?
I think their best place to be played is VGC because Aroma Veil means Trick Room. But once you know that they're going to Trick Room, there's pretty much two things that happen. If you know they're going to Trick Room, you can try to kill it before it uses Trick Room. If you try to nuke it and it uses Protect and its part uses Trick Room, then you're in for a really hard game. Doesn't mean you've lost, but you're already at a mega disadvantage. So it's a little bit of mind games going with that Pokemon. It's extremely obvious what it's going to be doing, but it's almost too obvious for its own good. Well, for your own good. That's what my opinion is on it. I personally don't like them.
Just to clarify, I think you cut out audio for a bit there. So you were talking about Sweet Veil prevents sleep.
It's Aroma Veil.
Aroma Veil.
Aroma Veil prevents taunt. And people like to put the safety goggles on it so you cannot get put to sleep. Did you hear that?
Yeah.
That's pretty much what it comes down to.
Yep.
All right, so that's pretty much all I want to talk about for VGC. Is there anything you wanted to talk about for VGC? Anything else?
I didn't have anything else to discuss. Should we take maybe any questions for VGC stuff?
Well, people have been asking the whole time. I've been trying to answer them. They're talking about like
Assault
Gliscor.
Vescudra, Gliscor.
Yeah, those things just aren't really good in VGC. Well, we can talk about. I guess we can segue into the next thing. You know, we could talk about how one of the ways to train for VGC is actually playing on the ranked ladder. Now, the ranked ladder is disabled right now because they're trying to put the Pokebank back up, but ranked battles are a great way to learn how to play Pokemon in general. People think you can play free battles and play on Showdown, but a great way is just get in there and play ranked. And I think it's very important that people play all the formats, singles, doubles, triples, rotation. They let you get a very wide analysis of the metagame, because like there's things that are really good in triples that just aren't actually that good at all. Like Blossom. Blossom's great in triples because it's stuck in the corner and it can really abuse the chlorophyll, whereas some other Pokemon can't, because Blossom gets a couple abilities that most chlorophyll users don't, or a couple attacks like Drain Punch, Swords Dance, combos like that you would never really see. So you get to learn a lot more about the game in general playing all the formats. But if you want to just get the most training you can at the best place, you would want to be doing Special Format. Special Format this season for the GBU ladder is going to be 100% VGC format. So that's the place. If you want to fight anyone who knows what they're doing on ladder, you want to fight Special Format. Does that make sense to you guys?
Yep, so if you want to train specifically in what VGC is going to look like, because Special Format this season is going to be exactly VGC rules.
Yep, it's going to be doubles format with only Kalos native. And I think that's very smart the way Nintendo did that. They never usually do that. Because it would suck having to just train against doubles, where doubles all you're going to be seeing are Genesects and Landorus and Cresselia. So I like the way they did that.
It's a really good tool for those people who are wanting to do competitive battle.
Yep. That's pretty much all I want to talk about for the GBU, actually. There wasn't really that much to talk about. Is there anything you guys have learned playing on the ladder that you don't think you would have learned anywhere else?
I don't know. I basically only play on the ladder. I haven't really used a lot of Pokemon Showdown this season.
Yeah. Well, one thing you can learn from the ladder is singles format's completely different.
Yeah.
You only use 3 Pokemon, right?
Exactly.
So what you can do is you can bring like a team of, let's say your team has Gliscor, Aselgor, and Straptor. You can leave a Staraptor and bring a Selgor and go for a final gambit, kill something. Send out a Selgor, final gambit, kill something, and then send out Gliscor and just wall them out. It's a really cheap gimmick, but it lets you really learn that those Pokemon get those moves, and you need to be wary for that at all times. I think it's just like things like that are reasons why it's a good idea to play ladder. All the formats.
Yeah. I think I haven't dabbled in the triples or rotation, but I've been doing singles mostly.
Rotation's my favorite format, man. That's where the most plays are made. Being
Yeah.
able to switch and attack, I think it's a blast. But it's not competitive. But you get to learn, like, you get to fear. Like, when that Wailord sets up a sub and there's nothing you can do about it, you're scared.
You just got an Infiltrator, right?
Yeah, that's probably pretty good in rotation. I personally like Frisk on Noivern better.
Well, Infiltrator Chandler, or Infiltrator Crobat.
I actually like Flame Body on Chandelier, because people never see that coming. People are like, oh, he has Flash Fire, Infiltrator, but like, when they make contact with you, you're like, well, Flame Body, you're so bad. I think it's awesome. Alright, so that was
do we
pretty
want to
much all-
raffle another Absol real quick?
Yeah, but I was going to say that was pretty much all I had to talk about. We can raffle off a few more Absols now. Alright,
So become chat active, all viewers. If you type something into the chat, anything into the chat, as long as it's some type of letter, it'll put you onto the little raffle app, and then I can roll, and it'll tell me who wins the raffle.
We should do some like really awkward keywords.
Well, if I do the
Make
key,
people type them.
not everybody enter the keyword when I enter the keyword.
yeah, so... I don't know. I think this is pretty much mostly what we wanted to cover for today. So I think
so.
Overall, pretty good.
Yes,
Knowing the
very much
Absol's
so.
pretty good. It encounters Blissey Gliscor, but it's never going to work ever again.
But definitely for the week.
Absol made the place. We could also talk about Kai's team while we're just sitting here. He ran 6 wall.
Yep. I might be able to
He was
bring up
like-
that battle.
Well, he didn't make top. He had enough score to get top, and the computer just made him 5th because he lost the T, and T pretty much took his spot. There's no keyword, Captain Hiltz. Just
Yep.
type something in your entered.
The fact that you just typed something has entered you in.
to get the Absol that we're raffling away.
Actually, I don't have
The battle.
my verse recorder got filled up, but he
Yeah.
had Chansey, Gliscor,
And 6
Scoliosis.
So I really think that next tournament, Kai is going to make a really big break and potentially a top.
All right, so there are 25 people entered. I'm going to roll.
Cool.
We
Patrick says Kai's team switched 2 things out after I talked with him. So with Patrick's guidance, I really believe that Kai's going to win everything.
Melon_juice. You have won. You have won the perfectly bred Absol.
Yeah.
Do you still have Timid and Modest left?
Me, yeah, I have Timid.
Okay,
Modest.
so we need
My friend code.
you to say
If you want Timid or Modest.
it's a Timid or Modest Absol, so it's for being a special Absol. That's been the Pokemon of the week. I need your friend code in chat, and then you need to find iShine in chat and his friend code, and
It's not a. It's just the melon juice is the person I'm trading, right?
yes.
Yeah. So it's a special Absol. Moves you want on it. I didn't put any on because they're all TMs. Are Flamethrower, Ice Beam, Thunderbolt, and he levels up and gets Dark Pulse. You can also have moves like Taunt and Will-O-Wisp. So. Okay, you didn't want
a
it.
reroll.
Just give it to somebody else.
I will
Yep.
reroll. Captain Hiltz, you are a winner. Captain
Captain
Hiltz.
Hiltz. Yeah, so these are 4 to 5 IVs. So you saw I just added mine. And I guess that guy's probably still in the chat. He just added.
Yep. So
If he's still there, I have no
yep,
idea.
there he is. You put your friend
You've
code
won.
in the chat. iShine's friend code was just put into the chat up in the just above you, and he just put it below you as well. So you're gonna need to add that.
Yeah, Patrick said that Kai put in Ferrothorn on like dual screens, and that's going to be extremely annoying. Everyone should bring brick breaks.
Oh, brick break.
Does
Man,
Infiltrator work on screens?
That's a good question. I have no idea. That's like a really good question.
All right, so yeah, Absols are. You need to tell iShine if you want a timid one or a modest one.
And you also need to put your friend code.
Yep, and type your friend code out into chat.
And also, after we go offline, if you really want one, you can just message the channel, and we can probably get those to you.
Yeah, we've still got plenty, and I think we're gonna stop the broadcast soon.
Soon, yeah. So you could probably just message my channel. That'd probably be easier, because like I'm the person with the Absols. But next week, what do you guys think potential Pokemon of the week for next week is? I think if we see Tentacruel again, it could be Tentacruel. It doesn't have to be something that's super secret tech. It could just be something strong like Ferrothorn or like
a
Reniculus.
Klefki.
Yeah. Sean entered Klefki, and that was pretty. Sean got top 4, so.
The things with Prankster that we're predicting for VGC supports. I think one of those would be a good Pokemon of the week.
Is next week a VGC tournament?
We're gonna do it second week in January, and I think we might just do it second week of the month.
Okay. Alright, so I decided the friend code. Alright.
Alright, so was there anything else? We can take a couple questions from chat.
Infiltrated does bypass screens.
Yep.
That's awesome. Patrick said that he thinks Klefki's strong. Alex Gross used Klefki and Sable in the same team against me, and it didn't really work because I used like a lot of steel types and things that didn't really mind getting. I used Mega Mall Wild that game, and normally I'm not really a Mega Mall Wild user, but it was just really lucky that because like he paralyzed it, and so there was not really anything Sable I could do, and I got the lucky end of the stick, I guess. Alright, so I need to know this person's name.
Yeah, Captain Hiltz, do you have an in-game name that you want to give, iShine?
Yeah.
Oh, if it's Captain or Hiltz.
I'm looking, it's just like I see a bunch of people it could be. I have a lot of people in my friend codes that I don't really know all of them.
Yeah, me too. Right, did you want me to...
Double pranksters. Okay.
Yeah, Captain Hiltz, what is your... Hiltz. It says Hiltz.
Okay. I'm looking for it.
Okay.
Yep, I found it. I'm gonna start trading.
I guess it might be faster. His in-game name is THATSAplusONE.
Oh yeah, I should probably say that. It's just THATSA. Yeah.
Yep. It's beneath, beneath your face on the stream, but I don't even know if you can read it.
It's fine. I'm not even looking at the stream. So you guys can start talking about more stuff while I keep going. We're potentially let's recap over the tournament we're starting at the end of January. It's gonna be we're hoping for at least 500 people entry. It's gonna be a big cash prize. I think we already have $300 set aside for it, and it's like I said, it's free entry. You'd be entering with your friend code. I think we would probably do everything over email, so that's why you can contact your opponent.
We'll have a form where you put in your friend code, your in-game name, your email address, and then I think we're gonna go like state if you're in the U.S. and then the country, just so that we have a little demographic of where the most of the players are coming from. So we're gonna need that information from people. We'll be promoting this around January, probably first or second week of January.
Might not be a bad idea to set up like a Facebook page so we can post all the notices.
We will too, but today was really just going to be the first announcement of it.
Yep.
So we're going to take anyone and everyone that wants to enter.
It's going to be a free tournament.
You have 4 to 5 days to play a round, and what we'll do is everyone send in their video numbers, and we'll cast as many games as we think is very good. Like, there'll be 2 streams going, me, Broducer, Jellysound, and another caster to be streamed at a later date. We'll be casting 2 streams, and there's a big cash prize, so I don't see why everyone wouldn't want to enter that. And thank you for the Sylveon. He gave me a Sylveon. That's kind of cool. I will take it.
The cutoff point for entries will be the end of January. We have not started entries yet, so look for that in January from either of these channels, either this channel, Jellysound1, or iShine's channel, I_Shine.
We'll also be reminding everyone about it at our Mages Realm tournament and potentially our Metropolis Comics tournament on Fridays and Sundays.
Yep, but the important thing is that it's a free tournament with a potential $300 or more cash prize, which
Yep.
sounds pretty
Yeah.
awesome.
And I'm not entering, so you guys can all win. Kidding. Yeah, it should be a lot of fun. Anything closing statements you want to talk about? Make sure to go to all your VGCs, because that's coming up in about 2 weeks. I think that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
That should close it. So just end with the closing statement, Jonathan. That's all you.
Well, yeah, thanks everyone for tuning in to Goldenrod Radio. We'll see you again next week at probably about 2 o'clock again. And I look forward to have another talk about the Pokemon metagame.
Yep. And also, if you guys want newer Absols, just message my channel with your friend code, and I'll set up a trade with you guys. That's I_shine in the chat. Just be sure to message my channel.
Yep. As always, if you have any comments or questions, want to suggest things, there's some contact information up there. RadioGoldenrod@gmail.com, or you can tweet at radio_goldenrod to find out what's going on with the broadcast that week.
All right. Anything from you, Sean, or is that pretty much it?
Nope, that's it from me.
All right, cool.
I'd like to
And
thank
we
special
also-
guest
we're
Shawnlu.
also- Yeah, we're also taking guests. Shawnlu was our guest this week. Don't know if he'll be on next week. Maybe might become another person. But anyone who wants to potentially be a guest on the show can message us and try and set something up. And that's pretty much all I gotta say.
Yep. All right.
Thanks
so
for watching, everybody.
Right.
Adios.
See you everyone.